Thanks for joining me. Always my favorite part of the week. Fridays at 2:30. The featured dancer that's going to be appearing at Blush 9th Street downtown makes an appearance here in the Triple Ivor Radio studio. A first-timer here for me in this studio, Stormy Daniels. Not her first trip to Pittsburgh.
No, it's not very many things these days I can say it's my first time. This is exciting.
First time with me, Stormy. You can always check that one off your list. You can mark that one down. Very pleased to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And now settled in after the first night in Pittsburgh. Shows at Blush tonight and tomorrow night. How was it at Blush last night? How was the crowd? Was it fun?
It was great. It was awesome. I had a lot of people came from pretty far away to see me, so that's always nice. And you know, the social media is such an interesting thing these days, and there are people that I know strictly by their screen names or their Twitter handles, and I have a fan who I've conversed with for probably 2 years now, pretty regularly. He's an awesome guy, and I met him last night for the first time.
Really?
And he came up and he introduced himself.
Was he from Pittsburgh, or did he travel?
He drove like 5 hours, and he came in and introduced himself. I went to sign his DVD, and I said, "Oh, what's your name?" And he told me his name, and he goes, "But you know me as
at something."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was a surprise. He didn't tell you he was coming.
He didn't tell me he was coming, and he looked nothing like how I imagined he would look.
Yeah.
And it was great. So that's always so much fun.
And obviously this wasn't a creepy thing. This was somebody that you conversed with and were getting along with.
Yeah, I've talked to him many times, and he's a member of my site. Like I've had a relationship, for lack of a better word, with the guy online for years now, and he's one of the ones I consider not just to be like a fan, and certainly not a creepy fan.
Sure.
He's intelligent, and he's funny.
Become a friend.
And now I got to meet him, and that's always a lot of fun. And he definitely scored brownie points because he tipped me with Cadbury cream eggs last night.
Cadbury cream eggs? It's off season for Cadbury cream eggs.
I thought about that. I was like,
I don't know what that cream inside is made of. I
don't know. Maybe he had them frozen. I don't know. You know what?
Have you had any?
I'm fine, so I guess they're okay.
You're all good?
I'm all good.
She's going to be ready to go. No food poisoning from bad Cadbury cream eggs for tonight at Blush, 9th Street downtown. What time are the shows?
10:30 and 12:30.
10:30 and 12:30.
2 tonight and 2 tomorrow.
Okay. Same both nights, 10:30 and 12:30. Check it out. Just show up after work, stay the whole night, catch both shows. It's going to be a lot of fun the whole way through. You are a champion on Twitter. Do you have somebody tweeting for you?
No, it's
always be on there.
And you know what? I feel like I'm tweeting all the time, but then I see other girls and they tweet like hundreds of times a day.
Whole new way of connecting with fans in your industry.
It's really, it's a double-edged sword because on one hand you have zero privacy.
Sure.
But the other way, it's cool because you have this direct link. Mm-hmm. And with internet, the piracy and people ripping DVDs, and it's really only one of the only ways to stay really connected.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, the piracy and everything being ripped off. You're contracted with Wicked Pictures.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And you have been for
10 years.
You've been with them for a while.
Yes.
Is it unusual to have a relationship like that last that long?
Definitely. I am the longest running contract star in the business ever.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, why is
myself?
Why? You're still looking okay. Trust me. Trust me on that one. Looking pretty. 10 years is hard to believe. But how have you made that relationship work so long?
Well, Wicked's different in the fact that they like to sign the person. Like, there's been so many girls that were hot and gorgeous and and he passed on them because he really wants someone to represent the brand long term. The owner of Wicked.
It's more than just making movies.
Yeah, the owner of Wicked is he's different than the other adult company owners. It's not like, what can I get out of this girl? Like, he really wants someone to be smart, and he doesn't sign super young girls. He wants someone who can manage themselves, not go out, and he wants a long-term relationship, and he's really cool about supporting the other endeavors that the girls want to do. And I've been with the company for 10 years. I've been writing for them for 9.5 and directing for 8. And he's supported like all of that stuff and all my side projects. Wicked's really good about that. And
so you're the Orson Welles of adult entertainment at this point.
I'm the control freak.
What's your Citizen Kane to this point? What's your favorite movie that you've written, directed?
Operation Desert Stormy.
Operation Desert Storm.
Yeah, and I will be honest, like, I did that in 2006, and I've become a much better director since then. I hope. I think every movie I do is a little better than the last one because I learned something and technology is advanced and
Sure.
and whatnot. But that movie was like the big turning point where I went from, oh, that's cute, you're a director, to, uh-oh, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And it won a big award for me. And it was also the biggest budget movie that I had ever done. It was considered to be like a big budget movie, and I did all stunts and explosions and all this stuff. And we did the sequel the following year, which was even bigger, and I took the crew to Hawaii to film and like all the stuff that you don't normally hear.
Operation Desert Stormy in the Jungle.
Operation Tropical Stormy.
There it is. I'm glad I'm not writing your titles for you because that was the best I could have come up with there.
But the thing that stands out is when I turned in the script, I was told that it was unshootable.
Why?
The owner of Wicked had a lot of people say, you're out of your mind if you let her try to do this. She can't pull it off. No one can pull off this script. And
what were
I
the
did.
things that you were doing that okay. Yeah. What were some of the things that they were against?
I had these huge sets, and I had people jumping out of planes, and like I said, I had explosions and fight scenes, and we had to hire fight choreographers and stuntmen, and we had it was just a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A whole lot of variables to throw into one movie, and have a very green director not only direct it but star in it.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank all those people who told me I couldn't do it.
And you pulled it off. Operation Tropical Stormy, another one to check off on my Netflix account. That will be what we go for. Now, I asked you when you came. My headphone just got caught, and I almost gave myself a concussion there. Okay, we're all set. We're talking to Stormy Daniels here on Trib Live Radio. I asked you when you came in how accurate your Wikipedia page was, and obviously there are some, being that anybody can go change it, there are some things about stuff. But there are a couple things that caught my eye, and we were talking about this before we came on air. An exploratory committee for running for senator in your home state of Louisiana.
Yes, that one is true.
Let's talk about that one for a little while, because then there was also a side story that involved your campaign manager being the victim of a car bombing.
Yes.
That you also said was true.
That is true.
Let's get into how that all came about. You said you're originally from Louisiana.
Yes, I'm originally born and raised in Louisiana, and that's very common knowledge. And the guy who started the Draft Stormy, I'm pretty sure the site's probably still up. It's just draftstormy.com. He was very anti David Vitter, who was a senator who was in office and actually is still. He was reelected. And they just wanted no one was running against him. And sort of as a joke, they said, let's draft a porn star to run against him.
Sure.
And my name obviously came up in all the searches, and somebody called me and was like, oh my God, this is so cool that you're a genius. And I was like, yes, I am. But I can't take credit.
Tell me why this time.
Yeah. And I was so mad. I own my trademark and protect my image and my brand very, very carefully. And I didn't know what extent or if he was making a I didn't know what it was all about.
Yeah.
And I called the guy. I was pretty nasty with him on the phone.
Yeah.
And I got to talking to him, and we ended up hitting it off. So I did a little research, and I just couldn't help but think to myself, like, if they think a porn star with no political training is a better candidate than this guy, like, what's going on? And then I looked into it. And what got me, first of all, was that Brian, the campaign manager, was so cool. And I really I felt like his heart was in the right place. Mm-hmm. Like, he apologized and was like, it wasn't my intention to make you look bad. Like, and I really believed him. I thought he was sincere, and I still do.
It was our intention to point out some of the hypocrisies and the poor governance of this guy, and we want to.
Right. And so I researched David Vitter, and one of my pet peeves is a hypocrite. And although I don't agree with a lot of his policies, if he had stood behind them, I respect his opinion. Mm-hmm. He ran on the platform of staunch family values and no sex education and religious and like all this stuff. And then he was the senator who was caught with the madam, and the story was that he was wearing a diaper and he embarrassed his wife.
I mean, who hasn't been caught in that situation every once in a while?